Welcome to the Trading Lounge. I'd love to share with you the trades I made today on my journey to 100K, where I try to take this small account to $100,000 as a rookie day trader. I am coming off a pretty slow stretch, a few drawdowns. Count was at about an all-time high. I was at an all-time high of about a 2K profit in June, Mayish, June-ish, and then in the middle of June, I made a couple mistakes. Lost most of that money in conjunction with some fees over at Lightspeed, and I've been slowly chipping my way coming out of out of the ditch for the last basically month and a half. And so the month of August is really a proof of concept month, just trying to get some base hits. By the way, I trade the Ross Cameron warrior trader style of trading, high volatility, low float, and that comes with a lot of risks. So that's what this account is really focused on, and just kind of figuring it out, right? And so here we go. The trade today I made was on, and we're going to go over a few stocks today, but I'm going to go over this first, so those who want to see this can just get out of here. But I traded PFSA this morning. This was on the top gainers list when I logged in first thing this morning. I live on the West Coast. So I get up at 3 a.m. every day, and I start trading at 4 a.m. But my broker is Charles Schwab, and I use Thinkorswim. I'm sorry, Charles Schwab with Dash Trader, and I can't trade before. We'll switch back to East Coast time before 7 a.m. So I have Webull set up as well, which is the trade I made today was actually on Webull, because there was a stock that was moving up before 7 a.m. So I had Webull up, and last week I made an error, and I was fumbling between the two platforms right around 7 o'clock, and it was a pain. So today I'm like, I have it up. I haven't committed to just sticking with just Dash Trader and Charles Schwab because I don't want to miss out on these early stuff. And if I'm sitting here and I'm ready, I want to be able to make a trade. And so I said, okay, I'll just leave Webull up for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. If I make a trade, I'll shut it down. If not, I'll shut it down and then load Dash Trader back up. So I don't have both of them up at the same time. That was the issue I had last time. So anyway, all that to say, this was one on the leading gainer, and one of the leading gainers. I marked it off this morning. So I marked off what I thought it was pretty far under, in my opinion, pretty far under VWAP. And so I didn't think it would have a chance to really make this run, which we've been seeing early in the mornings, these break of VWAPs. But I did mark off a little what I thought was a pivot point. I'm like, if it can come up and cross over VWAP and cross over that pivot point, maybe it breaks through 11. That was my idea anyway. And it actually worked. So I am trying not to trade things over $10, but when this started, it wasn't at $10, and it was kind of on my mind. I was open to making this trade. Technically, it does break a rule because it was greater than $10, but it's okay sometimes. But this thing, the volume comes in right here. This is right at 7 o'clock in the morning when I can start trading on Dash Trader. But I already had Webull up. And it comes up right here and immediately comes back down. I thought for sure it was just we weren't gonna see a move here. And then volume starts to kind of push the price back up. This opens, comes back, it passes over $10. I thought about taking a trade early right there. Ended up not doing it. This moves up, and I had marked off that pivot point at 1085. So I got in at 1080. It bounces up to 1150, comes back down. I get out at like 1115 or something like that. And that was the trade that I made on that stock. I got in right here at 1080, out at 1115. So I can only trade on Webull. I'm only trading with right here. So right here, only trading with in $500 chunks. And I'm only going to make one trade that I put money in there just specifically for this. There's not a lot in there. It's basically, I started out with $500 and whatever ends up being in there is in there. It's all part of the challenge though. So you're not going to make a lot of money here, but I'm not focusing on the money right now. I'm focusing on how I did here, right? And so 35 cents is pretty good for me. I've been saying over the last month, if I can just get 10 cents, back when I first started the challenge in December, if I could just get, I was just getting 10 cents out of the market, 15 cents out of the market. I'd go in with 4,000 shares, make 10 cents, get $400. Go in with 2,000 shares, make 10 cents, make $200. That was it, one and done. And then June and July overtraded, trying a bunch of different things. And now I'm kind of back to let's do 1, 2, or 3 trades a day. That is it. And if the first one is a winner, we might want to be done. That kind of played into me not making any trades in Dash Trader. Was like, I'm already up today. I don't want to mess this up. The probability of me continuing to win is not that high. And so here's what the data looks like so far. Where are you? I think I pulled that up for the month of August. So this is August. Again, not making a lot of trades, 100 share entries, and just proof of concept, making sure we're doing this the way we're supposed to be doing this. And today's trade wasn't the best trade, but I got in when I wanted to get in, got out when I wanted to get out, and that's great. I think like I could have been a little earlier. I'm not gonna complain. Like I think it was an okay trade, but maybe not my best work. So we got $55 this month so far. We have a win rate of 57%. My goal in this month is to really just chip away at some green days and have this win rate be high. I would like to have a higher accuracy. When I first started, I got lucky for the first 45 days or so, and I was at like a 90% win rate. It was insane. I think I had, in my first 33 days, I had 30 wins and 3 losses. It was nuts. And now it's not like that anymore, but I'd like to get back to something that's like 65, 70% accuracy and managing my risk. And then, so on the account here, we have a profit of $200. Like I said, this was in June, middle of June, this was at almost $2,000. So I put $4,200 in the account in total. And then we've got a profit of $200. Funny thing here is if you take its settings and you click the P&L and you go to gross, so this is my net P&L, which takes out all the light speed fees I had in June and July. And if I hit gross, this will go from 200 to 700. That's how much I paid in fees and light speed, mainly because I overtraded my booty off. But there's something to kind of be thinking about. Anyway, so that's that piece. Now, so those are the trades I made, and I'm going to get into some of the stocks that I was looking at today. Let me close this down. Where are you? Right here. And then let me bring back up the old Dash Trader. And, okay, so first, let's get to the stock where this actually makes sense. Was it a GNPX, actually? GNPX. So GNPX popped up on the chart today, and I did not trade it. I would have loved to have traded it. However, you can see it came up for about a minute. So it was like $4.80 up to like $7. And that happened in a minute, and then it came back down. So I clicked it, and when I went to click it, it showed up on the chart, but didn't show up in Dash Trader. And so I reopened my connector right here, made sure that Dash Trader was selected. It just wasn't working for some reason. You hit this little thing, you test it, and it works. And you can see it tested with Apple. But so what that does is on my scanner here, like if I click on XOS right here, it'll show up on my chart and in my Dash Trader. So right here, it should work. There it goes. And that didn't work. So by the time I kind of got it all settled and resolved, the stock had already dumped, and I didn't even have a chance to retrade. Now I could have just typed it in manually, but it is what it is. I wanted to fix it for the day, so got it fixed up for the day. So missed that move. That's fine. And then we had CDTG. I marked this off because on the where are you? Oh yeah, here. On the 1 minute chart, this actually looked halfway decent. Now look, this isn't I'm just pointing out a couple stocks that showed up on my scanner that I was a little interested in. That's all. It's not a perfect stock by any means. Like, this isn't a whole lot of volume here. This is 14K volume, 50 volume, 50K. Then the volume starts to creep in. But if you're just looking at the 1 minute chart, these look like pretty clean candle over candle highs, right? These are like my perfect entries. It tops out right there. Boom, you get in. But when you go to look at the 10-second chart, this thing was not clean. And this is why I didn't trade it. I was watching it, though, to trade it. So these represent those lines. And there's nothing clean about anything that's going over the top of those lines. This first one for sure, but there was no volume. So there's an opportunity there. But on this one is like topping tail, right? And then by the time this looped back around to try to get over here, this is an area I thought about taking a trade because it looked like it was starting to squeeze a little bit, even with little volume. I thought, well, shorts came in here and maybe did this, and then buyers stepped in and started pushing it back up right here. And I marked this line off 350. And it's like, if this goes over 350, it could squeeze. And it squeezed up to 370 and came right back down. I mean, was it risky? Yeah, it would have been risky. But it was something I saw. YYIA, I can't remember why I have this one up here. Let's take a look at why I have this up. Oh yeah. I just didn't even see this until it was too late. So I wasn't really watching this stock. It hit my nobody was. This volume was like 13K, 15K, not a lot of volume, but it does come over VWAP here. And I have a VWAP scanner to let me know it was going over VWAP. And then right here, it starts to pull back, and then we get this little push right here. This is not very much volume, though, I don't think. Yeah, 100K, that's not bad. But I didn't really get it on my scanner. Like, I wasn't really focusing on it until this was pretty much done. So I came in, I marked off this line real quick at 154. I'm like, if it goes over 150, I might get in. I didn't get in. It was a lower price stock. I just wasn't too sure. But it did do what I thought it would do. I just didn't pull the trigger on that one, unfortunately. But mainly because I didn't get the alert. I wasn't paying attention to it till the kind of the end of this candle, and I felt like I wasn't quite ready to be able to make that entry. But that would have been a good little entry there. And then let's see, HAO, where are you? Let's just go to HAO, because I thought on this one. I think you can see it on the 10-second chart. Let me do this real quick. Was this it? Yeah. So you can really see it on the 10-second chart. So I saw a couple of these this morning that were like, come up with not very much volume. What is this? 13K, not very much volume at all. But I'm like, just because it comes up on the scanner doesn't have much volume doesn't mean I'm not going to look at it, right? So I'm like, pull it up, I look at it, and I'm like, if volume creeps in, it could work. How much volume came in? Not a lot of volume. This is a very low volume play. But this is what I was kind of seeing a couple times today. Was like, it'd come up, there'd be a little selling, and then when it get over this level, it would just kind of squeeze up. So this came up over 450, went to 541, and came right back down. So I was kind of seeing that. And then there's a point where I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm missing some of these moves. XXTC was another one that I was looking at this morning. You get out of there. And is this the 10-second chart? It is. And this is, so the problem with this stock is it was on the leading gainer. Let's do the 1-minute chart. It was a leading gainer this morning, right here. So I'd marked off some lines. I'm like, okay, if this thing crosses over VWAP and comes over 515 maybe, and I don't know, one of those things. Another one was XOS, which I had a hard time trying to trade that today. I'll pull that up though. And this stock was kind of doing its thing, and finally I get the alert, it crosses over VWAP, and I take a peek, and I'm like, okay, if it goes over 515, I might get in, and it comes up right here, comes back down, comes up, come back down. I'm like, I don't think this is going to move. And then right here, it comes up, rejects right off this, and I'm like, I don't think it's going to do it. I don't think it's going to do it. And it did it. It went from $5 up to $6.36 in a couple of minutes, and I just kind of missed that move. And it is what it is. I really feel like my attention was a tad dispersed, and then combined with like not wanting to look. I'm already up 35 cents. I almost was like, I don't. In a normal scenario, like when I first started trading, if I was up 30 cents on I don't know, $4,000 maybe, or however, it doesn't matter how much it is, I'm walking away, So I don't know. It was kind of one of those things where I was a little uneasy because I didn't want to lose the profit that I made, and then so it had to be something that really stood out to me, and I also had to be watching it when it happened versus get alert, see it late, and then I don't know. It's one of those things. That's the problem with continuation sometimes, though, is that if you're not watching it, you just miss the whole dang thing. Let's look at SLE. Which was I think was the biggest miss of the day. Let's go here. This is fine. So this actually had news right here. It halted. It came out of it came out of a halt in pre-market, which was a news related halt. And I've never traded these things very well. So it goes from 260 and then opens at I don't know, whatever price that is. We'll call it 325. So it automatically gaps up after that halt. and then it kind of curls back right here, comes back down again, and then makes this big old run. And actually kind of pulls back. That this area is not great. I marked this down as an area where I would just typically get smoked when I'm trying to after I miss the move, I'm trying to figure out how I can get in here, and I would just get caught in these jackknives, and it would be horrible. But there was a couple other moves there, and I want to pull it up on the 10-second chart because let me do this real quick. Where was this? Right here. 369. Where is this? 450. Yeah. So here's an issue that I noticed kind of today was that while my attention was a little bit dispersed, however, what was this is a good little run here actually. There's quite a bit of volume in here, and why was my mouse doing? There we go. I mean, that's a pretty solid one little jackknife right there. It could have definitely got caught in, unfortunately, but my issue with most of these stocks today was that I really felt that my attention was my focus. I was focusing far too much on the scanner and the charts and not enough on my level 2 and my tape. And I could sense that. Like a stock would pop up, the candle would shoot off my screen, and I'd be messing with my chart to get it set up how I want it, and then I'm too late. Versus what I used to do was my scanner blinks and I click it, and the price action is moving up. I'm looking for an entry, and that today I didn't do that. Today I saw quite a few stocks pass me by that had half and whole dollar entries that I didn't take, and I'll be looking for that over the next couple weeks, definitely tomorrow and into the next couple days. But I want to be able to get in and make some of those half dollar, whole dollar entries as the stock is squeezing. And today it just felt a little uneasy. Some things felt a little choppy, and I don't know. I felt like you could have made a lot of money today, or maybe lost a lot of money today. But that could just be because Timid Timmy might still be chirping in my ear a little bit. I hope you guys were green today. I plan to be back at it tomorrow morning, and I'm looking to make a trade. This week, I am actually trying to hit that button to make sure that we don't go with a bunch of no trade days. The setup still has to be there, but I want to make sure that I'm making a trade. I'm giving myself a chance and just managing my risk. We'll see you tomorrow.